What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Hope everybody's having a great day or night whenever you're watching this. The Indiana Pacers, they had a pretty awesome season, made it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals, and obviously won a couple of playoff series, and All-NBA player, and Tyrese Halliburton, and it was a really, really good year. But with that being said, with it being an awesome year, they still came up short of the finals. So now it's how can we get over the hump of the Eastern Conference Finals in a series with Boston where they really were close in 3 out of the 4 games and arguably had a great chance of winning 2 of them. But the inexperience showed and Boston clutched up. But in order for Indiana to not repeat this, they're going to need some veteran experience. They're going to need to add something in the offseason. And they're going to need particularly to add to their guard-forward combination in terms of the perimeter defense because they were lacking in that area. And they're going to have to try and re-sign Pascal Siakam. That should be pretty much good to go. Probably get his $40 million. He was awesome in the playoffs, especially in the semifinals and then the conference finals. He was really damn good. So I would expect to see him back. But you got to add somebody to it. There's got to be somebody else. They need a third gear. They need somebody else that can take the perimeter defensive pressure off and can be just that guy for them because they're missing it. And particularly, I think they're missing it at the guard/forward position. So we're going to look at 3 options in this offseason that I think the Pacers should target. And let me know in the comments who you want to see them pick up this offseason, maybe who you want to see them retain, whatnot. But I'm particularly just going to talk about the guys that I would like to see them potentially sign in free agency or even trade for. So before I do, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe if you like this kind of content. Please like the video. But option 1, and this should be option A in my opinion, they should definitely be looking at Mikal Bridges. That should be the trade target that they're fiending for. He is everything that they could use. Perimeter defense, an Iron Man. Like I think almost every year in his career he played like the full season, which is insane, especially in today's NBA. Spaces the floor, can attack the rim, and he's the perfect kind of combo guy who can rim run too. He's a floor spacer that gets active in open court. That's somebody that they could really use, and he's on probably the best team-friendly contract of the league. He's only at $23 million for this upcoming season, and I think it's like 24 or 25 for the year after. He's got 2 years left on his deal, so he's not a 1-year rental. But you know the Nets, they're going to have a high asking price. That's just how ridiculous they've been for forever. And while I'll say this, Mikal is not a franchise guy. He's not your number 1 option on a championship team. But a number 3 with Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam would be insane. But what would you trade to get him? Because you're going to have to trade to get him. He's not a free agent or anything like that. The Pacers, they made this Eastern Conference Finals run without Ben Mathurin, who, as a guard, I think has a ton of potential. And maybe you don't even look to add anybody. You just hope that Mathurin comes back and can explode. But if you're going to trade, he's probably going to be the main piece, right? If we made it this far without him, what if we add an Iron Man that we know is probably going to be there at the end of the season in Mikal Bridges? I think Mathurin and picks would get you a long way, maybe a couple picks. You probably have to do some work on the salary just to, even things out. Maybe you throw in somebody like Jarris Walker, who rarely played this year. And I know the Pacers fans are pretty high on him, but that's a maybe. I don't know what the Nets asking price or value at least is on a guy like Mathurin, but he's like a perfect fit for Brooklyn in terms of their rebuild. And he makes a lot of sense because he's under a cost-controlled team contract for the next couple of years. So it makes sense for the Nets to do it too. But the Bridges trade would be amazing. And a lot of people are talking about OG Anunoby. And fun fact, I'm not going to talk about him in this video. So if you're looking for OG Anunoby rumors, I don't see it. I don't think he's leaving New York. I would be shocked if New York let him leave without giving him a great deal. So I don't want to talk about that. But Mikal Bridges is somebody I haven't heard about, and I think he's been awesome. So I think he'd be a perfect fit. But let's get to the second option, and it's a reunion of sorts with Paul George, because obviously he started his career in Indiana, goes to OKC after it kind of flames out in Indiana, and then he goes to the Clippers, where he's been there, and they've just underwhelmed over and over and over again. He's on record as saying that he would come back to Indiana. I don't know if Indiana fans want him back. That's a whole different debate, but I think he's the perfect fit to come in there, veteran leadership, dude that's been there before. He's been in the conference finals. He's seen a lot in the playoffs, spaces the floor, still an elite defender, can create for others. Like, he's an all-star, all-NBA level player for a reason. I don't know how open people are to him coming back, but he's a free agent. You wouldn't have to give anything up to get the guy. And you could bring that in. I don't know what his contract would look like, what he'd be looking for, of course. Maybe he's probably looking for a max or close to it, as it's probably his last major contract. But that would be a reunion that would, it would generate a lot of buzz in NBA circles. And you'd have a guy that's been there before alongside now. Tyrese has been there. Pascal Siakam's been to the mountaintop, of all people. Miles Turner has now been there. There's a lot of things that are in play there, but I would love to see a Paul George reunion in Indiana. Let me know in the comments if you agree or if you would absolutely despise that idea, because I know a lot of Indiana fans not exactly, they're not really feeling Paul George after the way he left. But I'm all for the story of him coming back, and if they were able to make something crazy happen, I'm a big Paul George guy. I think it would be awesome. And for my last option, I think of viable targets for them, it's not OG Anunoby, like I said, even though I've heard and I've seen all of that. Just can't see it happening. And this one's, I think it's controversial just because of his off-the-court baggage. But Miles Bridges is a free agent. And he's like a 3 or a 4, high flyer, can space the floor. I think he could be a really good defender on a team that is winning. Obviously, he's been in Charlotte the last few years, and it's been Charlotte. So, yeah, nothing less to say about that situation. So, he's unrestricted. He's a complete free agent, and obviously we have the off-the-court baggage. If you don't know about it, Google it. I'm not going to talk about it. So if you can get past that, and if you're just looking at it strictly from the basketball side of things, like I'm trying to do, he's a great fit. He's young. His market, who knows what his market's going to be, because he's not going to be able to get a max from anybody. So as a last resort, like we need to add some firepower to get over the hump, this would be a perfect fit. Maybe he's only, because of the issues that he's had in the past, maybe he only gets a $15 million a year contract. Who knows what it's going to look like for him. But he's the perfect fit to where he can space the floor, is a hyper athlete that basically, I think the best way to put Miles Bridges is he's Obi Toppin on steroids. And that's a compliment, because Obi Toppin had a really good year for the Pacers. He's a free agent. We'll see if they bring him back. But Miles Bridges would be like the last kind of 3/4 wing that I'd be looking to add if I don't make a trade for a Mikal Bridges or land a Paul George, or even somehow pry OG Anunoby away. I think Miles Bridges would be an awesome fit on this team. Let me know in the comments if you agree. Of the three, Mikal Bridges, Paul George, and Miles Bridges, which one would you want to see most on the Pacers? And let me know in the comments. It's an awesome year for them, and they have a chance to add to some firepower to this offseason, because they have trade pieces, they have valuable picks. There's a lot there that they can make some pretty damn big moves with, and instead of being the team that's a 5 or a 6 seed, can climb into that 1, 2, or 3 seed, as long as they're healthy, of course. But we'll see what they do. Let me know in the comments what you want to see them do. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe if you like this kind of content. Please like the video. Appreciate y'all for watching. But that's all. Thanks. Bye.